Nix, you hanging on back there?
Now I'll be honest, I had zero interest in this game when it initially released because 1, I trust Ubisoft as much as I trust my ex-girlfriend, and 2, I never cared about a Star Wars game that provides something close to a Han Solo experience. Granted, when I heard how well this game was performing on the Switch 2, I decided, what the hell, why not give it a try? Keep in mind, this is a first impressions video. I played roughly 5 hours of this game, and so far I'm actually having fun. Now, I am aware that the game has said to have a lot of repetitive mission structure, such as using stealth in a lot of missions, or going in guns blazing, missions of go here, find this item, go there, find this item, etc. But for the time being, here is what I enjoyed about the game thus far. The visuals are not going to look as amazing as it would on PlayStation 5, for example, but the game does have its moments where it can look pretty good, and to my understanding, it is one of the very few, if not the only game on Nintendo Switch 2 that has ray tracing. I was also amazed at how responsive and smooth the weapon combat is. I played quite a few third-person and first-person shooting games on Nintendo Switch, and I haven't experienced any that felt as responsive as this game. I know a lot of gamers who use gyro aiming for their Nintendo Switch shooting games, which is honestly one of the most annoying types of controls I've ever had to experience in my life. But luckily, using the right stick for aiming just feels right. Some of the environments I got to explore so far was also very interesting, whether it was sneaking onto a spaceship owned by the Empire or exploring a vast open area with the speeder bike. It truly does make you feel like you are in the middle of the Star Wars universe, and that is where a lot of fun comes into play. Even with the character of Kay Vess, I used to laugh at how poor her character model looked, especially with her weirdly funny hairstyle and hair physics. But her personality so far has been quite enjoyable.
Crispo. Because the forged identicards in that vault are the only way I get off this planet. I'm done with Kanto.
Now, as I said, it is somewhat of a Han Solo experience if you think about it. You play as a thief/smuggler type character who has an animal sidekick and uses blasters instead of a lightsaber, and you would complete various jobs for the different crime syndicates that you can find throughout this game. The whole point is for Kay to earn enough money to pay off her death mark and to have a really good spaceship so she can escape into a world of freedom, essentially. Now, these factions also play a role in the story, as you can betray one faction for another, and that may change the outcome of the story. This would also change the type of jobs you'll have available to you, as well as what resources you can earn from choosing one faction over another.
What a waste of time! Good boy.
I haven't had a chance to dive deep enough into the system, but it is very interesting to me so far, and I can't wait to see where it will all lead based on my choices. Now, the animal sidekick this time around is Nix. I don't know what type of creature he is, but he's definitely not a Wookiee. That being said, he's not useless at all, as you can use him to distract enemies, fetch items for you, especially going through small spaces that you can't fit through, and he can even attack enemies so that you can run up on them and get the knockout hit. And you can pet him if you want, and that's pretty awesome. Now, exploring these open areas on a speeder bike is also pretty cool, as the only other video game in the Star Wars universe that gave you this option, to my knowledge, is the last Battlefront game, and here it just feels right at home. You can also use your blaster to shoot enemies while on the speeder bike, which is also pretty cool, just a bit tricky to navigate with the controls, very similar to what you might see in Grand Theft Auto. There's also various challenges that you can complete so you can unlock new abilities for your speeder bike, such as improvements to performance, being able to jump with the speeder, and unlock a boost mode, which makes the bike move a bit quicker for a shorter period of time. I had a lot of fun just driving on the speeder bike throughout the open area, just exploring and finding different treasures and collectibles and side jobs without having any real agenda in my tracking, just going around for fun, doing some races just to have more fun with the speeder bike. Now, as I mentioned earlier, combat does feel really well done here. You do have your basic weapon combat with a basic cover system where you just crouch behind cover, and some weapons will give you some alternate firing types, and you can switch between your main weapon and whatever weapon you found. There's also some lockpicking in the game that you need to use for various doors and treasure chests, and the lockpicking mechanic feels really simple but also great. Other games like Starfield had a really crappy lockpicking mechanic in my opinion, but here it feels really cool just having to match the rhythm of the lights that will come up when you're trying to lockpick. And you can also use the other analog stick to look on left and right to see if anyone is approaching you and will catch you from sneaking in. But if you're quick enough to go through the lockpick, you won't have any trouble with that, and you can just proceed on forward. And of course, like most games, there is a grapple hook which you can use to climb certain areas or swing from one platform to another. A lot of games do use a grapple hook, and it works pretty well here. Nothing too special, just a basic grapple hook. Now, when it comes to sneaking into an area and using stealth, if you get caught, there is an option to try and fast talk your way out of the situation. And if you're fast enough, you can also use your primary weapon to stun or kill your enemies while you're trying to fast talk your way out of it. And of course, you can upgrade this even further to have more time to fast talk your way out of it and more dialogue options to see if you can just kind of talk your way out of the situation without having to use your blaster to fight off the enemies. And that's pretty cool, especially for a Han Solo kind of experience Star Wars game. Again, this is a system that I didn't have too much time to play around with in this first impression video, but I am going to be playing the game much more after this video, and I'll definitely get to try this system as I go further into the game. There's also a wanted system pretty similar to what you might see in Grand Theft Auto, but probably not as fleshed out. But when you are wanted by the Empire, you will be chased by stormtroopers, and you could end up getting arrested, which will just cost you a few credits and then you respawn somewhere. So nothing too crazy, but it is fun being chased by the Empire and trying to take out as many stormtroopers as you can before getting caught or being killed yourself. I was also surprised to find out that the game also has some space exploration and space combat. I didn't pay too much attention to the game when it first released because again, it's Ubisoft, but to find out that there's space combat and space exploration makes it feel even more of a fun Star Wars experience, and I really want to go further into the space system and see just how deep it is and how it compares to other space exploration games like No Man's Sky and of course the crappy Starfield. Now, as much fun as I'm having with the game, of course it is not perfect, especially on Switch 2. You will see some slight decrease in the visuals compared to the other consoles. You will notice some pop-ins, especially when you're exploring on the speeder bike, and even when you go from photo mode back to gameplay, if you've made any major changes to the scenery in photo mode, the game will take a few seconds to kind of load everything back into its normal current time of day and setting, but it won't take forever. It's just the weaker power of the Switch 2, but aside from that, the game still runs very, very well, especially just being that it's considered a 30 frame per second game and does not run at 60 or higher. It still runs pretty great for this handheld hybrid console. I have not yet had the chance to play the game in handheld. I played primarily docked, so I can't give you any first impressions on handheld gameplay, but maybe I'll do a full review when I put more hours into the game and talk about that some more. We'll see. Now, I understand that the price tag of $60 is pretty hefty, especially for a Ubisoft game, and I'm sure it's on sale for other consoles, and maybe it will go on sale for Switch 2, especially since we're approaching the fall season. Maybe during Black Friday it might drop half price. So I say if you're very skeptical about this game because it's Ubisoft and you don't want to pay full price tag, especially for a Switch 2 game, maybe it'll go on sale and you can wait for a sale. I will say that the game is very fun, and the main question is the game worth $60 full price? Well, think about it this way. You do get the option to play the game docked at home or play handheld with you on the go, and luckily it's not $70 or even $80. It is just $60, which is kind of the normal price we're kind of hoping for with further games releasing. But if you're very skeptical because it's a Ubisoft game and you just want something that is a bit more structured and put together, maybe wait for a slight sale. But I'm having a lot of fun with the game so far, being about 5 or so hours in, and I'm definitely prepared to put more hours into the game. So that's basically all I can really say about the game so far. But that is my first impressions of Star Wars Outlaws on the Switch 2. So let me know down below in the comments, have you played the game on other consoles? Are you playing it on Switch 2? Are you having fun with it? Are you disappointed? Let me know, and don't forget to like, comment, or not comment, like and subscribe to this channel. And I'll be putting out more videos as soon as I can. I'm Anthony Olan. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.
Okay. And you keep going it alone with high-risk scores that just go sideways.
You want it done right? You do it yourself.
I get it. You've hit some bad luck.
Bad luck. I'm out of marks, I'm broke, and I live in an attic.
Why don't you stick around the Broken Hoof tonight? Fix yourself some dinner. Let me set you up with something small, an easy hustle.